Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is on your Raw results from November 3rd, 2019. Birthdays for this week: November 2nd, Charmel, 1972. Darren Young, 1983. Samir Singh, 1987. November 3rd, birthdays: Dawn Marie, 1970. Cameron, 1987. Zeuxis, 1988. And rounding out birthdays, Andrade CN Almas, 1989. The following WWE 205 live matches were taped at the WWE NXT Arena from Full Sail University, Winter Park, Florida. For this week's show, Mansoor Al-Shayel defeated Brian Kendrick. NXT Cruiserweight Champion Leo Rush defeated Raul Mendoza in a non-title match. Those are your 205 live matches. Because of the cruise, both Raw and SmackDown are headed overseas, or already there now, and they will have a spoiler early Friday afternoon. And I will let you know whenever I get back from out of town myself. Probably over the weekend, actually, because I'm going to the fair Saturday. SmackDown will be taped from Manchester, England for Raw and SmackDown. Raw for next week. So that'll be both Raw and SmackDown spoilers. Cedric Alexander has been dealing with a minor injury over the past few weeks, according to PW Insider. No word yet on the details of the injury, but Cedric was cleared to return to action for Raw. That showed Alexander lose a singles match to Buddy Murphy. So you already got the results for that match. In other injury news, word within WWE is that Xavier Woods will not be back in action until the summer of 2020 at the earliest. This means that he will likely miss WrestleMania 36. No word yet on what WWE has planned for the New Day, but Big E and Kofi have been keeping the tag team together, at least for a few months, it looks like, and they will be challenging the Revival for the SmackDown Tag Team titles on this Friday's SmackDown from Manchester. Also noted, Woods suffered the Achilles heel tear at the recent WWE Live event from Sydney, Australia, during a tag team match with Big E against the Revival. The match was described as a freak accident coming off the ropes when he went down after being Irish whipped. The injury was said to be very bad. Woods underwent surgery on October 25th. No timetable for his return, but word going around, WWE was that he would be out of action for 6 months to a year. Athletes often return from Achilles injuries earlier than expected. Regarding Alexa Bliss's WWE status, it was reported earlier this week that she has been absent from the past few WWE tapings due to a shoulder injury. In an update, she has not been cleared to return to the ring as of Monday morning. According to PW Insider, it's scheduled to have her shoulder issues evaluated by doctors within the next few weeks. So she may be out at least a month. But WWE has filed a trademark to Trent 7 name on Friday, November 1st. As they have been using it for WWE NXT UK. And the following use description was filed with the USPTO, which is the United States Patent and Trademark Office. Noted on Wednesday that the latest Performance Center class was announced that the 3 top indie wrestlers, Scarlett Bordeaux, Shotzi Blackheart, and Indy Hartwell, plus referee Stephon Smith. As Natalya took to Twitter at this link, and you can see those people with her, and welcomed Hartwell to the company, sharing a throwback photo from their first meeting in Australia 6 years ago. Met at Indy_Hartwell 6 years ago when WWE did a show in Melbourne, Australia. Look at you now, Indy, proud of you. And our glow up, smiling face emoji, 3 of them. Congrats on your new at WWE contract. May all your wrestling dreams come true. Blue heart emoji, Natalya wrote. WWE Universal Champion, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, has been confirmed for Friday's SmackDown episode on Fox. which will be taped hours earlier from Manchester Arena in Manchester, England. This is Wyatt's first SmackDown appearance since winning the title from Seth Rollins at Crown Jewel last week. WWE in Manchester Arena did not have Wyatt or WWE Champion Brock Lesnar advertised for the double tapings for SmackDown and Raw. While Wyatt has been confirmed to appear, he has still not been added to the arena or WWE. And he is still not listed for any other live events on the tour. No word yet on if Lesnar will fly over for Raw, but stay tuned for your results. Also noted in a related note, Sasha Banks versus Nikki Cross has been announced for Friday's SmackDown episode, as Banks and Cross took to Twitter to react to the match announcement. Banks commented on Triple H's check clearing. It appears she wrote, "Hunter, check finally cleared. Money bag emoji, banknote emoji, money mouth emoji." Cross added, "In Manchester, spent a lot of time there in my career. This time last year, I debuted on SmackDown SD Live in Manchester. Excited for tomorrow night." And some of this news I got on Thursday afternoon. Former Impact Knockout ODB had a successful food truck that unfortunately burned down recently, as I told y'all and showed y'all pictures and other information. Well, Impact Wrestling family stepped in and helped out, as 100% of the proceeds from their upcoming New York City show will go to help ODB out. Both, by the time I get this video uploaded, the first night will already be done. Second night is still there. That will be November the 7th and 8th. She'll also be on hand for the New York shows, as she talked about potential return to the Knockouts division, which she spoke to Wrestling Inc. in our weekly podcast. And being that they are doing Impact tapings on Thursday and Friday night, I'll give you the spoilers on that later through the weekend too. It's like, oh crap, she used the S word. Could this be another run for me? It's crazy how things have been happening, and better things comes out of it. I'm open for anything, so whatever we can do to keep going, I can still go. So bring on the knockouts. Tease ODB. I always bring my gear, but I can kick butt in my jeans. You better watch out, because you never know what I'm going to do. ODB was a 4-time knockout champion, and she speaks highly of the current champion, Taya Valkyrie. We've never met, so I'm very excited to meet her. I like her. I like her style, and she kind of reminds me of me. Revealed ODB. She's different, and she's a bigger girl, but not in the chubby style. I hope she hangs on to that title for a while, unless someone like me takes it away from her. I would love to get in the ring with her. That would be a good one. And Impact Wrestling, their shows are on Tuesday night. In recent months, Impact has blurred the line between men's and women's wrestling, and there have been several intergender matches. ODB was asked if there is still a need for separate men's and women's divisions. Oh gosh, yeah. You definitely need to showcase the women, especially nowadays with every company showcasing more of the girls. It's a good time to be a woman's wrestler right now, said ODB. They definitely need to focus a lot more on the women's division, but then it's also cool that Tessa, speaking of Tessa Blanchard, is going off and doing her own thing. That's a strong beat, so cheers to her on that. With the idea of women competing for the Impact World Championship, ODB was asked about the reverse possibility of happening and men competing for the knockout title. I like it because when I was in TNA, Total Nonstop Action, they let me and Eric Young go after the guys' tag titles. That was pretty cool. That I got to be involved with that. As long as you can hold your own, it makes it exciting. And you're wondering what's going to happen. ODB said before adding that Tessa's steel cage match with Sami Callihan sends a strong signal. When I was with Cody Deaner back in the day, after he made his debut, He thought he won the women's title. And I was like, no, I won it. That was one of my favorite pay-per-view matches. And that's when I first won the knockout title, or knocked up title, as I called it, as she laughed. I liked it. And he was such a good sport about it. He added so much excitement into the division, and that's what it's all about. As long as it can be positive for the division, and it's good entertainment. Who knows? Maybe I can connect with the Cody Eater when I get back. There's been some debate on if Impact should continue calling its women's wrestlers knockouts, or if that term should be phased out. ODB made it known that she's in favor of keeping the knockouts as knockouts. I like the term knockout. I like it way better than divas, even though they're not called divas anymore, stated ODB. We all started as knockouts in 2007, and we definitely need to keep the knockouts as knockouts for sure. Impact Wrestling will be providing 100% of their ticket sales for their TV tapings Thursday and Friday night at the Melrose Ballroom in New York City to ODB. The funds will help her get her meet and greet food truck back up and running after being inflamed earlier this year, a couple months ago. And even I am posting video links like this, as you can contribute anything that you can. Will be grateful. And it's from her Indigo campaign. ODB's Feel Full interview with Wrestling Inc. aired as part of weekly podcasts at this link. It can be heard in the embedded player when you click that link. And ODB also discussed how her efforts to rebuild her food truck are going, as I think she has raised about $15,000 as of the news here. Impact Wrestling donated their upcoming ticket sales to her to possibly return to the Knockouts division. Current Knockouts champion Taya Valkyrie, who in WWE told her to go to TNA in 2007 and more. WWE posted this behind-the-scenes footage of Elias in Dubai for the recent launch of the WWE 2K20 video game. The video also features WWE Al and host Natalie Mamo. You can read the latest on update at that link. All the WWE status and return at that link. Alexa Bliss has been absent for a couple of weeks, as I told you earlier. More into that. It's confirmed also with PW Insider. As seen in this video, NXT champion Adam Cole has been announced as a special guest for Tuesday's episode of Backstage on FS1 at 11 p.m. Eastern Time. He will join host Renee Young and Hall of Famer Booker T to discuss the Survivor Series and TakeOver War Games 2019 builds. Also on a related note, Fox is also releasing the weekly WWE Backstage studio show as a podcast. This week's premiere podcast has been removed from YouTube for some reason, but you can still find it. Find the 34-minute episode on iTunes at this link. And it can be found on other podcast platforms. I didn't get no links for any of that. First episode mirrors the FS1 show and features Renee, Booker, Christian, Paige, Ryan Satin, Rob Gronkowski, and WWE Hall of Famer Shawn Michaels, and everything that was included on the show. NXT star Joaquin Wilde has been cleared to return to the ring. As I'm giving you updates, as Wilde shared the news on Instagram on an Instagram story. Well, remember a couple of weeks ago I showed you his injury to his eye socket, what have you. As noted, Wilde had surgery last month because of a broken eye socket. He also now has a steel plate in his face. I wouldn't go punching him in the face. He's now cyborg. The injury happened back in July while he was training. Doctors had held off on surgery for a few weeks to see if the injury would heal itself. But I gave you updates on that after his surgery a couple of weeks ago. WWE announced that the latest Performance Center class with a new round of NXT superstars and referee. This link, which confirms my statement earlier of who they are. On my next statement here, Scarlett Bordeaux took to Twitter to comment on officially signing with WWE. Bordeaux, Shotzi Blackheart, Indy Hartwell, and referee Stephon Smith have all reported for the training at WWE Performance Center at this link. It was announced that Scarlett Bordeaux, Shotzi, are working with the company now, and Bordeaux has wrestled once on WWE TV, losing a squash match to Nia Jax on Raw in 2016. Bordeaux wrote that now that she's officially signed with the company, she plans to take back the word diva while still being a superstar. I never understand why people say diva like it's a bad word, Bordeaux wrote. And of course, everybody wants to be a superstar. Well, I'm insatiable. Why settle for one when you can be both? Still a 10, still a smoke show, and now a super diva. And remember, that was her character on Impact. It's the smoke show. Bordeaux's boyfriend, Killer Cross, also commented on her signing with WWE, writing, "Love this woman. Absolutely can't wait for the world to see her at her absolute best. No words will ever truly allude to how proud I am of her for always fighting for what she believes in and fighting for her dreams. And I myself would love to see Killer Cross in WWE as well." WWE changed the finish to a non-title Raw match between WWE Women's Tag Team Champions, the Kabuki Warriors, and the team of Charlotte Flair and Natalya. No word yet on why the finish was changed, but Dave Meltzer noted on Wrestling Observer Radio that the original plan had Asuka and Kairi Sane getting the win. The actual finish saw Asuka tap out to Natalya Sharpshooter, which I just gave you a second match from Raw results. There was speculation that Natalya may have got the win to keep momentum going from her win over Lacey Evans at Crown Jewel and the media attention that she's had in the past few days. There's also speculation of Flair and Natalya getting a title shot from Asuka and Sane soon. This was their second win in the past month, as they also defeated the Iconics on the October 28th Raw episode. NXT champion Adam Cole continues to work through an injury. More injury reports. Cole worked Friday's SmackDown main event with Daniel Bryan and Monday's Raw main event with Seth Rollins while dealing with a fractured wrist, according to PW Insider. First noted that Cole was working with an injury back in late September as he had missed some NXT live events. And WWE announced that Cole suffered a fracture of the right arm during his September 25th NXT TV angle with Matt Riddle. In their weekly NXT injury report, which are often just for the storylines, now it's being reported that Cole is legitimately suffering from a fractured wrist. No word yet on if Cole plans to continue working with the injury, but we'll see. I'll keep you updated as he is your NXT champion. On a related note, Rollins took to Twitter after Raw main event, which he won by DQ, and praised the NXT champion. Bang bang at Adam Cole Pro. It's the real deal. Won't be the last time we tangle. As far as at Triple H and NXT, fair play to you. It's time to play the game. It's time to play the game. As Rollins wrote. That's Triple H's music if you haven't watched it in quite a while. This week's Raw saw Tag Team Champions, the Viking Raiders, with a squash match over two enhancement talents billed as the East Hampton Polo Boys. They were played by Wrestle Pro talents Nikos Ricos and Bobby Wayward. WWE announced that the company has expanded their partnership with Saudi General Entertainment Authority through 2027 to include a second annual large-scale event. When the WWE deal with Saudi Arabia was announced in March of 2018, it was already scheduled to run through 2027. WWE had been holding 2 events per year in Saudi Arabia. However, only one was guaranteed as part of the deal. WWE noted that they had been working on a long-term agreement for a second large-scale event in the region annually. And if you're not familiar, it's called the Super Showdown. And now you had this other one, Crown Jewel. It appears as if the deal was finalized after Thursday morning third quarter earnings call, as WWE co-president George Barrios stated on a call that a second WWE event in Saudi Arabia wasn't confirmed going forward. The clock is ticking, and we are one step closer to Wrestle Kingdom 14. Following a power struggle, New Japan Pro Wrestling announced during a press conference a series of matches for both events on the 4th and the 5th. The results from the two major bouts on the first night will severely affect the card on the second night. Thus, when you buy tickets, it's always card subject to change. Main event January 4th card will feature Kazuchika Okada defending his IWGP Heavyweight Championship against Kota Ibushi. Earlier that night, Jay White will defend his IWGP Intercontinental Championship against Tetsuya Naito. The winners of both matches will face off in a bout for both titles the next night, while the losers of both bouts will compete against one another. Another bout added to the first night was Will Ospreay defending the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship against the now healthy Hiromu Takahashi. On the 5th, Hiroshi Tanahashi will accept the challenge by Chris Jericho. Additionally, Taiji Ishimori and El Phantasmo will defend their IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles against Junior Tag League winners Sho and Yo. Back to WWE news. As WWE officials held a talent meeting backstage at Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York, before Raw tapings. The meeting was held around 3 p.m. Eastern Time, according to Dave Meltzer of F4W Online, with Vince McMahon and the Raw crew. Details on the meeting have not been revealed, but word is that the travel debacle coming out of Thursday's Crown Jewel event in Saudi Arabia was addressed. The company reportedly blamed talent speculation for causing a problem. Talents were told that the flight issues were all mechanical and nothing more. As I told you in last week's videos, Hulk Hogan had a issue with the plane when he landed going into Saudi Arabia, as the landing gear broke, tires popped, and what have you. So it was a shaky ride, Hogan even said. The company reportedly blamed, again, I think, Seth Rollins reportedly spoke at the meeting and attempted to do what was described as a rah-rah speech while telling people to keep things like the meeting and other company happenings off social media in the future. Well, I think I did see that rah-rah mentioned myself, but nothing more. Regarding travel woes, WWE noted before that Vince McMahon and his inner circle left the kingdom before the travel issues even came up. Meltzer reported that Vince's flight left around 12:40 a.m. local time, which was about 2 hours before WWE talents were to board their plane that never took off. But also Brock Lesnar and some other talent also left. Seth Rollins denied on social media that he gave any sort of speech during Monday's talent meeting that took place before WWE Raw. It was first reported by Dave Meltzer of Wrestling Observer that Vince McMahon held a talent meeting backstage at the Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York, before Monday's Raw episode. As he also reported that Rollins spoke at the meeting and attempted to rally the roster by delivering what was described as a rah-rah speech. Rollins lashed out at Meltzer over the report on Twitter, writing, You're at best a purveyor of misinformation, or at worst, an outright vindictive liar. I hope it's the former. Rollins added, hashtag rah-rah. Yeah, that's the tweet I read. Rah-rah. Meltzer addressed Rollins' comments on the latest Wrestling Observer Radio report. Meltzer speculated that Rollins was upset because he reported that he had heard that Rollins' speech was not well received by some people. He noted that Rollins was trying to come across like the locker room leader, and the speech was said to have been pro-company. Rollins took to Twitter to deny that report, stating that the speech never happened. "No, Dave, my problem is that you're spreading complete lies," Rollins wrote. "I gave no speech. I said nothing before, during, or after the meeting. So either you or your source is full of it. Either way, it's a bold-faced lie, and I kindly ask you to quit pushing it." Well, he didn't state that there wasn't a meeting, so there was a meeting. They just stated he didn't give a speech. Meltzer then acknowledged the error and stated that he was very sorry about it. He added that he doesn't want to spread misinformation, and he always wants to correct any mistakes. Randy Orton has signed a new multi-contract with WWE. According to PW Insider, back in 2010, it was reported he signed a 10-year deal with WWE. Well, guess what? It's 2019. With a month or two left. So, as last month, Orton was posting photos with Elite in them, teasing a possible move to AEW when his contract expires. Obviously, that's no longer the case, as Orton has signed a 5-year deal, apparently. And from last night's Raw, Orton showed up to give Rusev an RKO after Rusev's DQ win against Bobby Lashley. Orton also commented on Twitter, "3 most dangerous letters in sports entertainment. Hashtag RKO just resigned with the 3 most dominant letters in sports entertainment. Hashtag WWE. Looking forward to pissing off the hashtag WWE universe for at least 5 more years. Hashtag WWE Backstage at fs1 at WWE." After the announcement on WWE Backstage, Triple H also commented on Orton resigning as well. "I'm glad to put the rumor to rest," Triple H stated. "For almost 2 decades, Randy Orton has been a cornerstone of WWE. And Randy Orton will remain a cornerstone of WWE for a long time." I guess as they're getting older, they're only doing half the long time. For more information, there's more information on Mick Foley with a string of shows and his fundraising efforts to help ODB. And you can visit realmickfoley.com. Find out what he's got going on. Impact Wrestling is also hosting the ODB Appreciation Nights tonight and tomorrow night, with ticket sales going towards her getting her back on the road to serving up some meat to patrons again. After all, her business is called Meet and Greet. And like I said earlier, by the time this video gets posted, one date's already over. WWE taped is the following from Long Island, New York for this week's main event episode. Spoilers: Shelton Benjamin defeated No Way Jose. Zack Ryder and Kirk Hawkins defeated Eric Rowan and Eric Young. The Erics. I guess is their tag team name now. Well, Eric Young has been tag teaming with other people as well. Raw opened up from Nassau Coliseum in Long Island, New York. We see a black SUV pulling up. Triple H gets out. He walks to the back window and knocks. Then waves to someone to come see me that we can't see. Triple H marches into the arena. We cut to a normal Raw opening video. Live from the Nassau Coliseum. Power goes off. Vic Joseph welcomes us. He's joined by Dio Madden and Hall of Famer Jerry the King Lawler. We go right to the ring, and WWE Champion Brock Lesnar is out with Paul Heyman. Lesnar's pissed, but he doesn't speak. Heyman does the grand introductions, referring Lesnar to the conqueror of Cain Velasquez. He mentions Lesnar quitting SmackDown and said he had enough of SmackDown, so he's come to Raw to get Rey Mysterio. He mentions the trade with Alexa Bliss and Nikki Cross going to SmackDown for future draft considerations. Brock has a no-cut contract because he has a Jew as his advocate. Heyman says Lesnar can't be fired. Heyman says, so now Heyman's Raw contract has been assigned to Raw. This doesn't mean that Seth Rollins or Roman Reigns can do the same. This means Lesnar is special and has leverage. Lesnar is entitled to do whatever the heck he wants. as Heyman said, as fans boo. Heyman says people are wondering if that means Lesnar is better than him. And yes, it does. Each and every one of you. Heyman goes on praising Lesnar and go get some local heat. Heyman says someone here knows where Ray is. Heyman asks if he wants Lesnar to hop the rail and slap every man in the crowd. Heyman mocks the people of Long Island some more and says no one in the arena or city is man enough to slap Lesnar. I wish he would try and slap me, because I'd punch him in the gut and he'd be dead. Which includes Rey Mysterio. Heyman says Ray wasn't man enough to defend his punk son Dominic when it came to Lesnar. Heyman goes on and says Lesnar will either commit a felony on Ray or turn the arena inside out and upside down like a F5 touchdown in New York. They march off as the music hits to end this segment. We go backstage and we see Lesnar manhandling crew members. He yells out for Ray. Go to commercial. Back to the ring, we see what just happened. We see Brock again hunting for Ray during the break. He ripped one guy out of his car and brought him to the ground. The man pleaded with Lesnar not to hurt him because he's not Ray. Asuka and Kairi Sane versus Natalya and Charlotte Flair. Was your first match of the night. We see the women's tag team champions Kabuki Warriors waiting in the ring. Charlotte heads to the ring for a non-title match as Vic leads us to a video package on Natalya versus Lacey Evans, the crown jewel in Saudi Arabia. Back from the video, and Natalya makes her way out. Back and forth for several minutes. Asuka and Natalya go at it. The tackle and Natalya avoids an ankle lock early on. Natalya brings Asuka to the corner, and Charlotte tags in. Flair slams Asuka and shows off some by posing. Flair controls Asuka until Sane runs in. Natalya also runs in. Flair and Natalya clear the ring, and Santalo to go to commercial. Back for the ring, Asuka has control of Natalya. Natalya fights out with elbows to the gut. They collide with shoulders, and Asuka talks some trash. They collide with shoulders again, and Asuka stares her down. They run the ropes again, and Natalya drops Asuka with a shoulder. Asuka with a kick to the face before going to the floor. Natalya chases her out, and Asuka drops her with a huge kick. Sane points and laughs at Natalya. Asuka brings her back in the ring for a 2 count. Asuka keeps Natalya down by her arm. More back and forth. Asuka takes control and tags in Sane. They run wild with double team moves on Natalya, but can't put her away. Sane laughs at Natalya and keeps control for another pin attempt. Sane keeps Natalya down, but she fights up. Sane immediately drop kicks Natalya for another 2 count. Sane goes at Flair on the apron, and Flair swings back. Natalya takes advantage with a roll up for a 2 count. Flair tags in and goes wild on both opponents. She big boots Asuka off the apron to the floor. Flair unloads on Sane with a big chop. Now the fans go along with her. Woo! For each chop. Flair with a fall-away slam on Sane with a kip up. Flair misses Sane in the corner, but drops her over her knee. Like a red-headed stepchild. And then delivers a natural selection. But Asuka puts Sane's foot on the bottom rope to break up the pinfall. Flair goes out and drops Asuka on the floor with a forearm. Flair rolls Asuka back in the ring and levels her with a big boot. Flair drags Asuka over next to Sane in the corner. Flair climbs to the top as fans pop. Flair goes for a moonsault, but barely hits it. She pushes Asuka out of the ring and covers Sane, but Sane kicks out at 2. Flair can't believe it. Flair has words with the referee as she goes to the ropes for Asuka. Asuka with a cheap shot from the floor, while Sane has the referee distracted. We go to commercial. Back to the ring, Sane stops her from tagging. Sane drops Flair into the corner and works her over with kicks. Sane charges from the other side, but Flair gets her boot up for a huge kick. Asuka and Natalya end up tagging in at the same time. Natalya with a sweep and a shot to Sane to send her off the apron. Natalya with a big clothesline on Asuka. Asuka counters, but gets thrown to the mat. Natalya counters and hits a German suplex. Natalya then goes for a sharpshooter in the middle of the ring. Asuka rolls her into an armbar. They take on some more reversals. Natalya finally gets the sharpshooter in as the fans pop. Sane runs in to break it up. And Flair follows up with a spear to Sane. Asuka goes for the Asuka lock on Natalya, but it's blocked. Natalya locks in the sharpshooter again as Asuka yells out. Asuka taps for the non-title finish. So, do they get the title shot? We'll see in the near future. After the match at Town Sands Hall, as the music hits, as Flair also joins her. They have their arms raised to end the segment. Brock Lesnar and Paul Heyman marching out to the announce table as the Italian's music is still playing. Their celebration barely on. Heyman asks the announce team where Rey Mysterio is. He also takes a "Who are you?" shot at the announcers. He then asks Jerry Lawler where Rey is, threatens him and says this time no one will resuscitate him where he dies on Raw. Heyman asks Lawler again where Rey is, and Lawler doesn't know. Dio, a former WWE NXT superstar, steps up to Lesnar as they face off for a second. Lesnar rocks Dio and mushes him in the face and then launches him through the announce table with a big F5. Fans chant, "Holy crap." Lesnar turns to leave, but Rey runs out and beats on him with a pipe. Rey unloads and targets the knee, beating Lesnar around with a pipe. They go down on the ramp, and Rey keeps control, dropping Lesnar again. Rey runs back up the ramp, and referees run down to break things up. Fan chant for 619, as Lesnar is still down on the floor. Trying to recover, clutching his knee, Rey's music hits, and he heads to the back. Lesnar says, "We need help. We need help for Dio." Heyman tends to Lesnar at the bottom of the ramp. Vic says he's never seen Lesnar like this. We go to commercial. Back to the break, and we see just happened. Vic shows us how Lesnar had trouble getting to his feet during the commercial and how he limped up the ramp. We go backstage to Rey Mysterio, and he's fuming. Rey says Brock tried to take everything from him and went after his son. Rey goes on and says Lesnar tried to take what's most important from him, and now he will take what's most important to Lesnar. Rey asks Lesnar if he will be man enough to come after him at WWE Survivor Series, like he did him tonight. Rey drops the pipe and walks off. Buddy Murphy versus Cedric Alexander was up next. We go to ring. Buddy Murphy is in with Cedric Alexander for the rematch from October 14th, which Buddy won. The bell rings, and they go at it. Back and forth to start. Cedric with a head scissor takedown and a big kick to send Buddy out of the ring. Buddy pulls Cedric out of the ring and takes control. Cedric turns it around and brings it in. Cedric uses the apron cover to hang on, leading to a big kick to Cedric's face to turn him back around. Buddy with two quick pin attempts. Buddy keeps control and works on the knee. Buddy grounds Cedric by his arm. Talking trash while he's down. More back and forth as Cedric looks to turn it around, using just one of his arms, and the other is hurting. Murphy misses a kick and gets rocked by a big elbow. Cedric with a springboard kick to send Murphy out. Cedric runs the ropes for a big suicide dive. Cedric goes back in and launches himself out, taking Murphy back down. Cedric brings him back in the ring with a springboard flatliner, but Murphy kicks out at two. Alexander goes on and springboards back in, but it's blocked. Cedric blocks Murphy's off. More back and forth until Cedric hits the Michinoku driver. Murphy still kicks out at two, and Cedric can't believe it. Cedric then kicks Murphy around a bit as Murphy ducks the kick. Cedric goes for the springboard back elbow, but Murphy meets him with a jumping knee to the back. Murphy follows up and hits Murphy's all for the pin and the win. After the match, Murphy stands tall as his music plays, and we see Lawler and Joseph sitting with what's left of the announce table. Dio has not returned after the big F5 from Lesnar. Vic shows up how Triple H arrived earlier tonight, apparently with some backup. And we get highlight video from Friday SmackDown with an NXT invasion. We see Seth Rollins backstage walking. Back, we go to commercial. Back to the ring. Out comes Seth Rollins to the ring. Rollins takes the mic, and some fans boo him. Rollins asks what's next for him. He says it's been a rough week, to be honest, a rough couple of months. Rollins isn't stupid. He can hear the fans. He knows some fans are excited about him losing the WWE Universal title to the Fiend Bray Wyatt, but he doesn't give a dang. What concerns him is Wyatt taking the title to SmackDown. What concerns him is WWE Champion Brock Lesnar being back at Raw at the top. What concerns him is how his work to give guys opportunity is all a wash now. It's all gone. Rollins doesn't know if he has the energy for this whole reclaim and rebuild thing this time. But what's next for Seth Rollins? For the first time in a long time, he doesn't know. The music interrupts. Out comes Triple H. Triple H enters the ring, and then they shake hands momentarily. Fan chant NXT. Triple H asks Rollins if he doesn't know what's next. Triple H says it's funny how history repeats itself, and when Seth doesn't know what is next, their paths cross. He says it's been like that a lot in the past. Triple H says maybe Rollins' past is his future. He goes on about how Rollins has come to him several times in the past, and it led to him putting NXT title on the map while being the foundation of it, leading to the Shield, leading to WWE title, and more. It's that way over and over again. Rollins interrupts and asks if what Triple H did for him was Triple H's benefit or Rollins' benefit. Triple H asks it if it matters because Rollins walked away a champion each time. Fair point, Rollins said. Triple H says Rollins doesn't know what's next, but he does. Triple H then brings NXT invading SmackDown on Friday. Triple H admits they fired the first shot when half of the roster was stuck overseas, and says it was smart. He says NXT made a statement that NXT is real and it's here. That NXT at this moment is on fire. The whole world wants to know what NXT does next, will affect what Triple H does next. Triple H then says Survivor Series is Raw versus SmackDown versus NXT for the first time ever, and they've got something to prove. Maybe he doesn't know what is next, or if he has what it takes, but Triple H does. Triple H knows how to get Rollins there, and always has. Triple H knows how to make Rollins great. He goes on and says Rollins is either with him in this moment. We see Undisputed Era come from the crowd and onto the apron, surround the ring. Adam Cole, North American Champion, Roderick Strong, NXT Champions, Bobby Fish and Kyle O'Reilly. Without their titles, fan chant NXT. Triple H says Rollins is either with him or against him. They stare Rollins down from the apron. Music interrupts. Out comes the OC, Luke Gallows, Carl Anderson, and U.S. Champion AJ Styles. The OC marches to the ring, and the Undisputed Era retreats to the crowd. Dominic Dijakovic and Damian Priest say they attack the OC at ringside and beat them down as the Undisputed Era joins them. Raw superstars run down from the back, and the NXT superstars run away through the crowd. Eric Rowan, Zack Ryder, Kurt Hawkins, R-Truth all come out. Rollins looks back, alone in the ring. OC recovers on the floor as the other Raw superstars stand around him. Rollins exits the ring as the music hits, marching up the ramp and to the back alone. We go to commercial. Back from the break, we see what just happened. We go backstage, and Seth Rollins stops Triple H. Rollins says if Triple H wanted him fired up, that's what he just got. Rollins says if Triple H wants him on NXT, he's not coming down there as anything but the top guy. Rollins says Daniel Bryan couldn't get the job done on Friday, but he wants NXT champion Adam Cole tonight in the main event for the title. Triple H says welcome back to Rollins and says the challenge is accepted. Rollins storms off and Triple H smirks. I like that. Andrade and Zelina Vega mixed tag action against Sin Cara and her debuting Carolina. And Sin Cara's last week's manager. We go to ring. Out comes Andrade and Zelina first. Vega cuts a promo on how they are the greatest mixed tag team combination. She goes on with the trash talking and says they will embarrass Sin Cara and Carolina tonight. Sin Cara's music hits. Next, and out comes the masked Carolina, who debuted last week. The bell rings and Andrade charges, attacking Cara in the corner before he's ready. This leads to Cara sending Andrade over the top to the floor. Cara runs the ropes and Vega stops him for the distraction, which leads to Carolina leaving off the apron and taking Andrade down on the floor. Sin Cara brings Andrade back in the ring as we go to commercial. Back for the break, Andrade is in control. We see how Sin Cara flew for a big moonsault during the break. But Vega interfered without getting caught to help turn it back around. Andrade takes Cara to the top, but Cara resists and fights him off. Andrade goes for the mask and Carol drops to the apron. Carol ends up launching Andrade to the mat with a big sunset bomb. Carolina and Vega try to rally for their partners. Vega and Carolina tag in at the same time. Carolina meets Vega with a drop kick. 2 drop kicks. Carolina yells out at the crowd and hits across body. Vega fights back now. More back and forth. Carolina plants Vega in the middle of the ring, but Andrade pulls her off. Sin Cara levels Andrade and sends him out of the ring. Sin Cara runs the ropes for a dive, but Vega gets in the way. Sin Cara catches a kick, and that leads to Carolina dropping Vega. Vic keeps calling her Catalina, but the graphic did say Carolina. This also happened last week. Sin Cara runs again and leaves out. So somebody botches, either the announcer or the production crew, taking Andrade down on the floor. More back and forth between the female superstars. Vega with a big counter in the corner and a basement drop kick, basement hurricane for the pin and the win. Winners of the match, Andrade and Zelina. After the match, music hits as Vega and Andrade stand tall in the ring together. Still to come, the OC versus the Street Profits and Humberto Carrillo in a 6-man action. Also, Adam Cole defends against Seth Rollins in the main event. Video package showing what happened with Jerry King Lawler, Rusev, Lana, and Bobby Lashley on King's divorce court last week. We see Rusev marching backstage. Back to commercial. Back to the ring. Rusev is waiting in the ring as Mike Rome does ring introductions. Rusev takes the mic, and a new Rusev Day starts up for the crowd. Rusev is sure everyone will agree with him when he says tonight is the night to end all this stupid drama. He's not here to bicker with his soon-to-be ex-wife, Lana, or call her names, because he sure can. He's here for Bobby Lashley. Rusev is here to tell Lashley, man to man, that Lana is all his if he wants her, but your butt is all his. As he says, the music hits, out comes Lashley on crutches. As Lana is with him. And we all know that Lashley is not injured. Lashley mentions how he would come beat Rusev up, but he suffered a very debilitating injury last week. He tore his groin. Lashley says he didn't tear his groin at Crown Jewel or training to beat Rusev up. He tore it doing things, performing in ways Rusev could only fantasize about. They share a kiss, Lana and Rusev. Lana says Rusev isn't interested in hearing about their life that is full of love and sex, but he is interested in another type of fight. Lana says someone very special has volunteered to fight Rusev, and he's going to kick his butt. Music hits, out comes Drew McIntyre. So we get Drew, Lana, and Lashley marching to the ring together. The bell rings and Rusev sizes Drew up. Fan chant Rusev Day again. Rusev ducks a shot, but Drew drops him with a headbutt. Drew takes Rusev to the corner and beats him down. Rusev comes out of the corner with a big clothesline. Rusev unloads with shoulder thrust in the corner on Drew. Rusev with a right hand and big body shots to Drew in the corner. And we see Lana and Lashley watching from the ramp as Rusev keeps control. Drew finally turns around in the corner and unloads on Rusev as the referee warns him. Drew manhandles Rusev in the corner as Lana and Lashley smile. Rusev fights out of the corner, but Drew drops him with a big clothesline. Drew keeps control and works Rusev over while he's down. Rusev comes back with a fall-away slam to send Drew out of the ring, clutching his back in pain. Rusev stares up at Lana and Lashley as we go to commercial. Back from the commercial, and Drew remains in control. Rusev turns around, but Drew shuts him down with a big spine buster in the middle of the ring. Rusev kicks out as we see Lana and Lashley looking on. Drew talks trash, but Rusev fires back with a clothesline to drop Drew. Rusev mounts offense with several big moves as the crowd pops. Rusev with a big spinning heel kick for another pop. Rusev gets hyped up in the corner, but Drew dodges the Machka kick. Drew fights back, nails the throat chip. Drew rocks Rusev on the top rope, and Rusev flies out to the mat, but Drew moves. They run the ropes and end up colliding in the middle of the ring with crossbody attempts. Both men are down. They get up and trade shots in the middle of the ring. Big strikes continue and turn to clubbing blows. Rusev knocks Drew out of the ring with a big super kick. Rusev follows and slams Drew head first into the steel ring steps. again. A second time. Lashley comes running down the ramp with no injury, of course, and smacks Rusev over the back with a crutch. Winner by DQ, Rusev. After bell, Lashley continues beating up Rusev at ringside. Lashley brings Rusev in the ring and follows up with a crutch again, but Rusev fights back. Rusev unloads and launches Lashley into the ring post, shoulder first. Rusev is wide-eyed and furious now. Rusev waits for Drew to get up, but Randy Orton suddenly attacks with an RKO out of nowhere for a big pop. Lana laughs as Rusev is laid out from the RKO. Lashley works over Rusev while he's down. The attack on Rusev continues as the Hills and former Team Flair members gang up on him now. Music hits, and out comes Ricochet to make a save for his former Team Hogan partner. Ricochet checks out Lashley and sends him to the floor. Ricochet on Orton and Orton go at it. Ricochet boxes RKO and sends Orton out of the ring. Lashley comes back to the apron, but Ricochet kicks him to the floor and accidentally sends him into Lana. They both go down. Ricochet's music hits as he stands tall with Rusev in the ring. Lashley carries Lana up the ramp to end the segment. So the come segment, Rollins versus Cole plus the OC versus Carrillo and Street Profits. We get a live anti-smoking ad that also shows in the arena with Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch shown in the graphic. The cut backstage as Lynch is being mic'd up for an interview. Back to commercial. Back from the break, we see Triple H and Street on sending a custom WWE title to Washington Nationals for winning the Major League World Series. We also see footage of the title being used in a Nationals victory parade. Charlie Caruso backstage with Raw Women's Champion Becky Lynch for the interview. Charlie reveals Lynch versus NXT Women's Champion Shayna Baszler versus SmackDown Women's Champion Bayley for a triple threat at Survivor Series. Lynch talks about how she usually loves Survivor Series, but this year she is the target. She talks about why Bayley and Baszler want to come after her, mentioning how she took Ronda Rousey out. Then we hear Baszler's voice. She asks Caruso if she can have her seat. Baszler sits down and introduces herself, saying she's been waiting a long time for this. She goes on and also mentions her friendship with Rousey and how Becky beat her at WrestleMania 35. Baszler wants to make something very clear. She's not Rousey, and at Survivor Series, she won't take her eyes off of Bayley, but she just wanted to come to Raw face-to-face to tell Becky she's going to make her tap or pin her at Survivor Series. Baszler says all Becky has to think about between tonight and Survivor Series is which limb belongs to Baszler. Becky says she doesn't know who Baszler. Becky's glad that they got the chance to have this talk so she can fear what Rousey felt. Baszler goes on with more harsh words, and she also won't take her eyes off of Bayley at Survivor Series. But she's coming for Baszler. They stand up and face off. Baszler says she's really glad they got to have this talk. They have more words, and Becky tells Baszler to bring her best at Survivor Series because she's going to knock her head off. And that's to confirm the match. And we get the OC versus the Street Profits with Humberto Carrillo. We got a ring out, comes the OC. U.S. Champion AJ Styles, Luke Gallows, and Carl Anderson. AJ takes the mic and says he's not in the mood tonight, so Long Island needs to shut up. AJ says Gallows and Anderson are the greatest tag team in the world, and their trophy proves that fact. They point to the Crown Jewel World Cup trophy at ringside on display. As AJ says, another fact is that he is a phenomenal one. Another fact is that the OC doesn't give a dang about NXT. And the next time they see one of those punks, the OC will make sure they don't step foot outside of Orlando, Florida. Music interrupts. Out comes the Street Profits, Montez Ford, and Angelo Dawkins. Humberto comes out just a second later as they stand all together on the stage. Ford talks about how Gallows and Anderson are officially the best tag team in the world now. He mocks them. Dawkins mentions how the Profits pinned the OC several weeks ago. Ford says Dawkins can't say that. Dawkins keeps repeating it. Ford has Humberto say it next. AJ is getting upset. AJ threatens to shut Humberto's mouth if he doesn't do it on his own. Ford has Humberto say it in Spanish this time. He just says, what the heck? What the heck did he just say? Ford and Dawkins talk more trash, and they say they want all the smoke, as they say it simultaneously. They head to the ring with Humberto, and as the music starts back up, the OC gets ready for the fight. We go to commercial. Back to the ring, Humberto is going at it with AJ. Back and forth until Carrillo takes control. The proper take turns on keeping control. AJ with a throat shot to Dawkins to daze him. Anderson tags in and unloads in the corner. Ford ends up coming in and mounting offense on Anderson for a 2 count. Ford keeps Anderson grounded and places the crowd for reactions. AJ ends up interfering from the floor, allowing Anderson to deck Ford and send him to the floor. Gallows levels Ford with a huge clothesline on the floor. Anderson follows and slams Ford's face into the edge of the apron. Anderson brings it back in the ring for a 2 count. AJ comes back with offense on Ford for a 2 count. Ford fights back, but AJ knees him in the gut. Ford tosses AJ to the floor, but AJ runs back into the ring. Ford ducks and hits a big drop kick. Anderson tags back in and immediately takes a drop kick. Gallows tags in. Ford ducks a shot. Gallows catches him in midair and tosses through the air. Gallows levels Ford with a huge boot now. AJ tags in, but trips, but then rolls through and saves it. AJ slashes Ford in the corner. Anderson with a quick tag to keep Ford in the corner. Gallows also with a quick tag and more offense. Gallows with a splash in the corner, and then an uppercut to drop Ford again. Gallows keeps Ford grounded as we go to commercial. Back for the ring, Anderson has Ford grounded. Still, Ford knocks Dawkins off the apron, then drops Ford with an uppercut for a 2 count. Anderson keeps Ford grounded with another headlock. Anderson gets sent out, but Gallows tags in on the way down. Ford doesn't see it, but he manages to counter and drops Gallows with a big blockbuster. AJ and Humberto tag in at the same time. Humberto unloads and drop kicks AJ back. Humberto with a running clothesline in the corner and another big kick to AJ while he's down. Humberto rolls into a moonsault while AJ is down for another 2 count. More back and forth. AJ counters once, but Humberto rocks him for a 2 count. Humberto goes up top, hits a moonsault, a huge moonsault for a 2 count. Anderson brings up the pin. Dawkins runs in with a pounce that sends Anderson out. Gallows rocks Dawkins, but Ford drop kicks him. Ford yells, runs the ropes, and leaps out, taking Gallows and Anderson down on the floor. AJ rocks Humberto for the apron. AJ brings Ford in for the forearm, but misses. AJ and Humberto go at it some. AJ with a power bomb, putting his feet on the ropes to get the leverage for the pin to win. Referee didn't see it, so they win. After the match, AJ stands tall, raises his title in the middle of the ring as the music hits. Gallows and Anderson recover at ringside. AJ joins them, and they talk trash as they head back up the ramp. We go back to Vic Joseph and Lawler, who still have no announce table and no third broadcast colleague. They lead us to a video package on NXT champion Adam Cole. We see Triple H backstage talking to Adam Cole. Back to commercial. Back to the ring, we see what Brock Lesnar has done tonight while hunting for Rey Mysterio. We also see Rey beating Lesnar up with a pipe and Rey's backstage challenge for the Survivor Series pay-per-view. Vic confirms Rey versus Brock for Survivor Series with the WWE title on the line. Viking Raiders versus the East Hampton Polo Boys. They gave you the results of that. As a squash match. After the match, Viking Raiders stand tall as the music hits. Eric stands tall and admits that they suffered defeat at Crown Jewel. They congratulate the OC on being crowned the greatest tag team in the world. They tell them to enjoy their trophy. They go on and say Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson may have won one battle, but nothing stops the raid. They pose together as the music starts back up. Go to replays. We see Seth Rollins backstage warming up. Back to commercial. Non-title Seth Rollins versus Adam Cole. Your main event. Back for the break. We go to the ring for tonight's main event. Seth Rollins makes his way out first. Adam Cole is out next with Triple H. We get formal ring introductions before they begin. The bell rings and they go at it, trading holds and going to the mat, then back up. They go to the ropes. The referee counts, warning Rollins to back off. They take on some more, and now Cole out of the corner. Part 2 conclusion of your Raw results and dark match main event. Finishing off your main event, Rollins brings it back in the ring after a clothesline that sent Cole over the top to the floor. Rollins launched himself out to take Cole back down. Rollins worked over Cole on the floor while Triple H watches from a chair. Rollins then launches Cole into the barrier with ease and stands tall as we go to commercial. Back for the ring, Triple H watches as Cole rocks Rollins and drops him with a knee. Cole covers for a 2 count. Cole talks trash and rocks Rollins some more. Rollins fights back with chops. More back and forth between the two, trading shots in the middle of the ring. They trade more big strikes. Rollins ends up nailing a super kick to the jaw while Cole is on his knees. Rollins charges in the corner after more offense. Rollins goes to fly in at Cole off the springboard, but Cole knocks him off out of mid-air with a big super kick for a close 2 count. More back and forth now. Cole with a Panama surprise attempt, followed by a big buckle bomb by Rollins for a 2 count. Rollins runs the ropes and nails a suicide dive, sending Cole into the barrier. Rollins rushes back in the ring and runs the ropes again, nailing a second dive. Rollins brings it back into the ring with springboard at Cole with a big knee. Cole counters a move and levels Rollins by dropping his neck over the knee for a 2 count. More like a shoulder breaker. Cole waits for Rollins to get back up. Cole ends up connecting with another big kick, but Rollins kicks out. Cole shows some frustration as Cole goes over for the last shot, but Rollins counters and rolls him up for a 2 count. They both come right back, but collide with clothesline attempts. They both go down, and the referee checks on them. They go to the top, and Rollins nails a big superplex. He holds on to it and hits Cole with a Falcon Arrow. Cole still kicks out of 2. Triple H stands up from a chair at ringside now, looking a bit concerned. Some fans cheer as Triple H stares Rollins down. Fans chant, "Burn it down," as Rollins cranks up for the stop, waiting for Cole to get back up. NXT Tag Team Champions Kyle O'Reilly and Bobby Fish suddenly appear at ringside as O'Reilly grabs Rollins' leg for the DQ, as the referee seen it. After the bell, Rollins turns around to a flying knee from NXT North American Champion Roderick Strong. Undisputed Era unloads on Rollins. Several numbers of Raw roster run down to even the odds. More NXT superstars also run down, including Dominic Dijakovic, Keith Lee, Tommaso Ciampa, Matt Riddle, and Damian Priest, among few others, as the OC Kurt Hawkins, Ricochet, Zack Ryder, Eric Rowan, and maybe a few others are out for Raw. Big Raw versus NXT Brawl continues at ringside. Very much what they did with SmackDown. Ricochet flies from the ringside and takes down a bunch of superstars at ringside. Fan chat, holy crap. Lee runs the ropes and flies over the top, taking down a group of superstars again as Raw goes off the air with NXT versus Raw brawling continuing at ringside. Well, WWE held a big moment with Ricochet and the first title defense for new Universal Champion, The Fiend Bray Wyatt, after this Raw went off the air at Nassau Coliseum in Long Island. And I don't know if this link here is action from that, but it does show Ricochet flying. Dark match main event was held after Raw went off the air, with the chaos being cleared following Ricochet's post-show dive. Match saw The Fiend retain his title over Rollins in a steel cage. This would have been first title defense for The Fiend, who just won the title from Rollins at Crown Jewel on Thursday in Saudi Arabia. Wyatt's no longer appearing on Raw because he was drafted to SmackDown, and that can be found on this link. And as you can see in that link in the video, WWE is still using the red lighting over the arena for the dark main event, which lasted between 4 and 5 minutes. According to a correspondent, Jack and Melanie Gross finished on Rollins, deliver several stomps in the center of the ring, but Wyatt then stopped him from escaping the cage. Wyatt followed that with Sister Abigail. Then the pin on Rollins to get the clean win as Wyatt disappeared as the lights went back out, and then reappeared on stage, raising the title in the air while the lights flashed. And that concludes my video for this week. Thank you again. Peace out. See you on the video. If you don't know, just call me, brothers and sisters.